Inside the turmoil, where Afghanistan and Pakistan stand today, this headline encapsulates profound interlocking challenges. Afghanistan and Pakistan are neighbors, bound by a long, complex border, shared ethnicities, and a history that is both intertwined and fraught with tension. Situated at the strategic heart of South Asia, they form a land bridge to the Middle East, Central Asia, and the Indian subcontinent. Let's map where things stand now. A brief glance at a map reveals towering mountains in the north, such as the formidable Hindu Kush, which gives way to arid deserts and fertile plains further south. This geography is not a backdrop, it shapes power and survival. The Durand Line is a rugged 2,600-kilometer demarcation. In many places, more suggestion than line. For Pashtuns, it cuts through families and tribal lands, as people, goods, and ideas flow with a fluidity defying formal control. Local loyalties often override national identity, complicating state authority. Afghanistan, landlocked, defined by mountains and deep valleys, long known for fierce resistance to foreign occupation. Kabul, in the east, is the nerve center of politics and commerce, but the country is decentralized, with precarious roads linking major cities. Treacherous terrain and harsh weather isolate communities and challenge governance. Pakistan is larger, more populous, and coastal on the Arabian Sea. Islamabad symbolizes state aspirations. Karachi and Lahore embody vibrant urban life. A powerful military, complex politics, and a pivotal regional role. Hosting millions of Afghans has been compassionate, but straining amid Pakistan's own crises. The Hindu Kush, formidable spine of rock and ice, spans Afghanistan into northern Pakistan. For centuries, its passes controlled the flow of armies, traders, and ideologies. In winter, snow can seal communities off for months, fostering fierce independence and resisting uniform rule. The Durand Line, drawn by the British in 1893, intended as a buffer, in practice it bisected Pashtun lands. Peshawar became an economic and cultural hub, especially during conflict. Rugged borderlands remain porous, sanctuary and transit for armed groups, smugglers, refugees, and inside Afghanistan, control of valleys and the Ring Road is power. Since August 2021, the Taliban consolidated control and formed a de facto government. They lack formal recognition. Veteran leaders dominate the emirate. Governance is based on a strict interpretation of Islamic law. Women and girls face severe restrictions, education barred, public life curtailed. Workplaces closed to many, strict dress codes, mahram required for travel, aid suspension and frozen reserves triggered economic collapse. People survive through small farming, day labor, and remittances. Factions differ between Kandahar and Kabul. Resistance persists. ISK targets both Taliban and civilians. Pakistan wields influence and faces vulnerability, especially after the Taliban's return. Islamabad's civilian leaders and entrenched military watched with both relief and alarm. A fragile economy leans on the IMF, China, and Saudi Arabia. Soaring prices fuel discontent and unrest. High-stakes confrontations deepen polarization and stall reforms. Hopes for a friendly Kabul faded amid TTP violence and India anxieties. Border clashes and sharp recriminations cooled ties. Pakistan balances China's CPEC, a functional U.S. relationship, and suspicion of India's Afghan role. A long, porous, often lawless border dominates the security landscape. For decades, it has served as haven and corridor for armed groups. Pakistan's primary concern is the TTP's escalating violence. Islamabad cites Afghan sanctuaries. The Taliban deny, action remains limited. Inside Afghanistan, ISK rivals the Taliban, striking officials and minorities. Illicit trade thrives on weak control and corruption. The Taliban ban poppies, yet uneven enforcement sustains funding streams. Periodic border clashes and militant threats keep civilians in constant uncertainty. In Afghanistan, aid cutoff and frozen reserves crippled the economy. Half the population needs help. People sell what they own or take on debt just to eat. For decades, Afghans have moved to Pakistan and Iran seeking refuge. Pakistan hosts registered refugees, asylum seekers, and many undocumented. Large refugee populations strain local resources and services. Catastrophic floods in Pakistan displaced millions and wrecked farmland. Afghanistan's prolonged drought deepens food insecurity. Climate shocks drive migration into cities and across borders. This is a humanitarian emergency. The future of Afghanistan and Pakistan hangs on a knife's edge. State collapse, economic isolation, and climate shocks could trigger famine and instability. An isolated hardline regime risks becoming a magnet for transnational terror. Pakistan faces default risks, political fracture, and rising TTP violence. Yet resilience persists. Local aid workers, community elders, women educating girls in secret. Facilitating trade, supporting agriculture, and ensuring aid saves lives and builds peace. Watch Taliban power dynamics, Pakistan's economy and politics, ISK and TTP, and refugee flows. Key places: Kabul, Kandahar, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Torkham, Chaman, and Helmand's drought belt.